The ball left his fingertips in perfect rotation, backspin at exactly 62 revolutions per second. The arc traced a familiar parabola through the humid air of Madison Square Garden. 22,000 people held their breath as one organism, suspended in that fraction of time between release and destiny. And for the first time in 3 years, 2 months and 17 days, the ball didn't go in. Metal clanged against metal. The sound echoed through the arena like a death knell. The buzzer followed immediately after, harsh and final. Game over. Season over. Dynasty over. Marcus Chen collapsed to his knees at center court, hands covering his face while confetti meant for the opposing team began to fall like snow over his broken dreams. The camera zoomed in mercilessly, broadcasting his anguish to 47 million viewers worldwide. In that moment, the man who had become synonymous with perfection became forever associated with the most tragic miss in basketball history. But this story doesn't start with failure. It starts with something far more dangerous. It starts with a boy who simply couldn't miss. Riverside Park in Portland, Oregon, summer of 2009. A 9-year-old kid in oversized shorts stood at the free throw line of a cracked outdoor court, shooting baskets as the sun melted into the Willamette River behind him. His name was Marcus Chen, and he'd been there for 6 hours straight. His mother, Linda, watched from a bench 30 feet away, concern etched into the lines around her eyes. She'd brought him here at noon, expecting they'd leave after an hour, maybe 2. Now the streetlights were flickering on, and her son was still shooting. Make after make after make after make. "Marcus, honey, we need to go home," she called out for the 4th time. "Just 5 more minutes, Mom. I'm almost there." Almost where? She didn't know. Neither did he, really. There was just this feeling, this magnetic pull that kept his hands reaching for the ball, kept his eyes fixed on that orange rim. Other kids had come and gone throughout the day. They'd played their games, gotten bored, left for dinner or video games or whatever normal kids did. But Marcus stayed. He wasn't naturally gifted. His father, Robert, had been a basketball player, decent enough to earn a Division II scholarship before a knee injury ended those dreams. But Marcus didn't inherit his father's athleticism or size. At 9, he was shorter than most kids his age, skinny as a rail with reflexes that coaches politely described as developing. What he had was something different, something that couldn't be taught or inherited, an obsession with repetition that bordered on compulsion, a refusal to accept anything less than perfect execution, and most mysteriously, an almost supernatural ability to make tiny adjustments with each attempt, his body learning at a rate that defied normal human development. By the time darkness fully claimed the park that night, Marcus had made 473 consecutive free throws. He missed the 474th only because his mother physically took the ball away and marched him to the car. In the years that followed, the legend grew quietly. Middle school coaches noticed first. This scrawny kid who barely made the team had a free throw percentage that surpassed players 3 times his age. 94% in 7th grade, 97.2 in 8th grade. By his freshman year at Jefferson High School, he hadn't missed a free throw in competitive play in over 18 months. College recruiters started appearing at games, drawn by whispers of the impossible. They came expecting hype, expecting exaggeration. What they found was something that made them question their understanding of the sport. During his junior year championship game, Marcus went to the line with 3 seconds left, his team down by 1. The opposing coach called timeout, trying to ice him. The standard psychological warfare. Make the shooter think, make him feel the pressure, make him human. Marcus made both free throws. The gym erupted. Jefferson won the state title, and a video of the moment went viral, accumulating 42 million views in 72 hours. The comments section became a shrine of disbelief. This kid is a robot, AI in human form, literally cannot miss, physically impossible. I've watched every game this season. He hasn't missed once. Not once. That last comment was accurate. Marcus Chen's junior year free throw percentage was 100%. 87 attempts, 87 makes, 0 misses. But statistics only tell part of the story. They don't capture the ritual, the routine that had evolved from childhood compulsion into something approaching religious ceremony. Before every free throw, Marcus would bounce the ball exactly 3 times. Then he'd spin it in his hands until the seams aligned perfectly with his fingers. He'd take 1 deep breath, counting to 4 on the inhale, holding for 2, exhaling for 6. His eyes would find a specific bolt on the back of the rim, a tiny imperfection in the metal that served as his target. And then, with a motion so practiced it looked effortless, he'd shoot. Swish. Always swish. Sports psychologists started studying him. Dr. Patricia Vance from Stanford's Human Performance Lab spent 3 months analyzing every aspect of Marcus's technique. She measured his muscle memory, his visual processing speed, his heart rate variability during high-pressure situations. Her conclusion, published in the Journal of Sports Science, used terms like savant-level kinesthetic awareness and unprecedented neuroplasticity. But in an interview, she said something simpler and more unsettling. In 20 years of studying elite athletes, I've never seen anything like Marcus Chen. He's reached a level of automaticity that shouldn't be possible for a skill with this many variables. He's essentially eliminated conscious thought from the equation. When he shoots, he's not making decisions. He's become the shot itself. Universities offered scholarships. All of them. Duke, Kentucky, North Carolina, UCLA. Every blue blood program in the country wanted the boy who couldn't miss. Marcus chose Duke, partly because of their academic reputation, partly because coach Mike Krzyzewski himself flew to Portland to recruit him. "I won't lie to you, Marcus," Coach K said during that visit, sitting in the Chen family's modest living room. "You're going to be under a microscope. The pressure at Duke is unlike anything you've experienced, but I believe you have something special. Not just your shooting, your mind, your discipline. Those are the qualities that create legends." Marcus's freshman year at Duke exceeded every expectation. He started from day one, unusual for Coach K's system. His free throw percentage remained perfect through December, then January, then February. As March Madness approached, the streak stood at 143 consecutive makes. ESPN's SportsCenter ran a weekly segment tracking the streak. Betting markets emerged around when he'd finally miss. Sports Illustrated put him on the cover with the headline, "The Boy Who Broke Basketball." But behind the highlight reels and magazine covers, something was shifting. The perfection that had made Marcus famous was becoming a cage. Every game, every trip to the free throw line, the weight increased. It wasn't just about making the shot anymore. It was about not being the guy who missed, not being the one who broke the spell. His roommate, Tyler Barnes, a backup point guard, noticed the changes first. Marcus had always been serious, dedicated, but now he was shooting 500 free throws after practice, 1,000 on off days. His hands developed calluses on top of calluses. He'd wake up at 3 in the morning and head to the gym, unable to sleep, compelled to practice. "Dude, you're gonna burn out," Tyler warned one night, finding Marcus shooting alone at 2:30 a.m. "I can't stop, Ty. Every time I close my eyes, I see it, the one that's going to miss. I see the ball hitting the rim, bouncing out. I hear everyone's faces. I hear the noise. It's coming. I know it's coming. I just need to be ready." "Ready for what? You're shooting 100%. You literally cannot do better." "That's the problem," Marcus said quietly, the ball spinning in his hands. "The only direction from perfect is down." The NCAA tournament arrived. Duke entered as the #1 seed with Marcus's streak at 209 consecutive makes. They crushed their first 2 opponents. Marcus was perfect from the line, as expected. But in the Sweet 16 against Michigan State, something happened that no one anticipated. Michigan State's coach implemented a strategy called Hack a Chen, intentionally fouling Marcus every time he touched the ball, sending him to the line over and over. Not because they thought he'd miss, but because it disrupted Duke's offensive flow. It was psychological warfare taken to an extreme. Marcus went to the line 27 times that game. He made all 54 free throws. Duke won by 18. But afterward, in the locker room, Marcus vomited from the stress. The perfection was becoming poisonous. Duke made the Final Four, then the championship game, and Marcus's streak reached 274. The number became a narrative into itself. Commentators speculated if he'd reach 1,000, if he'd retire having never missed, if the record was literally unbreakable. After the loss, the criticism came. Sports talk radio hosts questioned whether Marcus's free throw perfection was actually hurting the team. Was Duke's offense too focused on getting him to the line? Had he become a liability everywhere else on the court? Marcus read every comment, watched every debate, absorbed every criticism like poison. That summer, he made a decision. He would declare for the NBA draft. Not because he was ready, but because he couldn't handle another year of college basketball, another year of the streak defining everything about him. The Golden State Warriors selected him with the 8th pick. The press conference was surreal. Reporters asked almost nothing about his overall game. Every question was about the streak. Marcus, you've now made 743 consecutive free throws. Do you think you can maintain that in the NBA? Marcus, what will it feel like when you finally miss? Marcus, some statisticians say you have a better chance of being struck by lightning than missing at this point. How do you handle that pressure? He answered politely, professionally, but inside a voice was screaming. The NBA was a different beast. The pace was faster, the players were stronger, the travel was exhausting. But Marcus's free throw shooting remained untouchable. He made every single one through his rookie preseason, through the first month of the season, through Christmas. The streak reached 1,000. Sports media exploded. It was the lead story on every platform. Statisticians calculated the probability, 1 in several billion. He was doing something that shouldn't be mathematically possible. But Marcus was crumbling. He'd lost 15 pounds. He wasn't sleeping more than 3 hours a night. His hands shook when he wasn't holding a basketball. The Warriors team psychologist, Dr. Raymond Moss, became genuinely concerned. Marcus, we need to talk about this, Dr. Moss said during a session in January. You're showing signs of severe anxiety, possibly developing into something more serious. I'm fine. I'm making my free throws. That's exactly the problem. You've made your entire identity about never missing. What happens to Marcus Chen if Marcus Chen misses a free throw? I don't know, Marcus admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. I honestly don't know. The answer came in March, during a home game against the Phoenix Suns. It wasn't a particularly important game. The Warriors were comfortably in playoff position. The season had 3 weeks remaining. But somehow, the universe chose this random Tuesday night in Oakland. Marcus got fouled with 8 minutes left in the third quarter. The Warriors were up by 12. He stepped to the line for his 1,271st consecutive free throw attempt. The Oracle Arena crowd gave him a standing ovation, as they always did. He went through his routine. 3 bounces, spin until the seams align. Deep breath, find the target. He shot. The ball hit the back rim, bounced up, caught the front rim, and fell out. The arena went silent. Not the silence of shock, but something deeper. The silence of witnessing the impossible become possible. Marcus stared at the rim, unable to process what had just happened. The referee handed him the ball for the second attempt. He missed that one too. The streak was over. Marcus finished the game in a daze. He barely remembered the final 20 minutes of play. The Warriors won by 19. In the locker room afterward, reporters crowded around his locker, cameras flashing, microphones thrust toward his face. Marcus, how do you feel right now? Marcus, what went wrong? Marcus, is this a turning point for your career? He gave robotic answers, his mind somewhere else entirely. That night, alone in his apartment, he finally broke down. Years of accumulated pressure released in rocking sobs that shook his entire body. He called his father at 2 a.m. "Dad, I missed." "I know, son. I watched. Are you okay?" "No. Yes. I don't know. It's weird, Dad. Part of me is devastated, but part of me feels free." "That's because you are free. The prison you built, you just walked out of it." But Robert Chen was only partially right. Marcus had walked out of one prison, but he was about to discover he'd entered another. The next game, Marcus missed 3 of his 5 free throw attempts. The game after that, he missed 4 of 7. By the end of the season, his free throw percentage had plummeted to 68%, below the league average. It was as if missing once had broken whatever mechanism had made him perfect. Sports psychologists called it the yips, a phenomenon where athletes suddenly lose the ability to perform basic skills. But this was more than that. Marcus hadn't just lost his shooting touch, he'd lost his identity. The Warriors didn't make it past the first round of the playoffs. Marcus's struggles from the free throw line were a major factor. That offseason, the criticism was brutal. Skip Bayless dedicated an entire segment to declaring Marcus the biggest bust of the decade. Social media was merciless. From 1,271 to trash in one season, that's actually impressive. One-trick pony. Once the trick stopped working, nothing left. Biggest choke artist in sports history. Marcus considered quitting, just walking away from basketball entirely. But something his mother said during a visit home changed his perspective. "You spent your whole life trying to be perfect," Linda Chen told him, holding his hands across the kitchen table. "Maybe it's time to try being good. Good is actually harder than perfect. Perfect is rigid. Good requires adaptation, growth, acceptance. Perfect is a mask. Good is honest." Those words became his mantra. Marcus worked with Dr. Moss intensely that summer, not on his shooting form, but on his relationship with failure. They broke down every miss, not to fix it, but to accept it, to understand that missing didn't define him. Slowly, painfully, Marcus rebuilt his game. He focused on becoming a complete player rather than a perfect free throw shooter. His field goal percentage improved, his assists doubled, his defense became lockdown, and his free throws, they settled at around 85%. Very good, not perfect. The Warriors made the playoffs again the next season. They advanced to the second round. Marcus was solid, consistent, mature. He'd become a different player, a better player, many argued. But the narrative around him had changed. He was no longer the boy who couldn't miss. He was the boy who choked. Which brings us back to Madison Square Garden. Conference Finals, Game 7. Warriors versus New York Knicks. The game of Marcus's life. It was a battle from opening tip. Neither team could pull away. Every possession mattered. Every shot was contested. The lead changed hands 23 times. With 45 seconds remaining, the score was tied at 104. Marcus drove left, split 2 defenders, and got hammered by the Knicks center. The referee's whistle cut through the chaos. Flagrant foul. 2 shots and the ball. Marcus would go to the line with a chance to give the Warriors the lead. The Garden exploded in noise. 22,000 Knicks fans screaming, trying to shake him. Marcus stood at the free throw line, and suddenly he was 9 years old again in Riverside Park. The same cracked court, the same orange rim, the same compulsion to make one more. But now, with 3 years of perspective, he understood something his younger self couldn't. This wasn't about making or missing. This was about being present in the moment, about trusting himself, about accepting whatever outcome came without letting it define his worth. He bounced the ball 3 times. Old habit, muscle memory. But this time, he didn't need the ritual. He shot the first free throw on pure instinct. Swish. Warriors up 1. The crowd noise intensified to a physical presence. Marcus could feel it pressing against his skin. The referee handed him the ball for the second attempt. This was it. Make it and the Warriors had a cushion. Miss it and the Knicks had life. Marcus thought about his father's words. You're going to miss eventually. He thought about his mother's wisdom. Good is actually harder than perfect. He thought about all the hours in dark gyms, all the pressure, all the expectations. And then he stopped thinking entirely. He shot. The ball left his fingertips in perfect rotation, backspin at exactly 62 revolutions per second. The arc traced a familiar parabola through the air. It hit the back rim, bounced up, caught the front rim, and fell out. The Knicks rebounded. They pushed the ball up court. Their star guard pulled up from 25 feet with 12 seconds left. The shot was perfect. Knicks by 2. Warriors called timeout. In the huddle, Coach Steve Kerr drew up the final play. But before they broke, he looked at Marcus. You good? Marcus met his coach's eyes. Yeah, coach, I'm good. And he meant it. The final possession unfolded in slow motion. Marcus set a screen, rolled to the basket, received the pass. 3 Knicks defenders collapsed on him. He could have forced a shot. Instead, he kicked it out to his teammate, Klay Thompson, who was wide open in the corner. Klay's 3-pointers splashed through as time expired. Warriors won by 1. The arena fell silent, except for the Warriors bench erupting. But Marcus wasn't celebrating yet. He walked directly to Klay, embraced him, then turned back to look at the free throw line where his miss had nearly cost them everything. In that moment, cameras captured something remarkable. Marcus Chen was smiling, not the forced smile of someone trying to mask pain, but a genuine expression of peace. In the post-game interview, a reporter asked the inevitable question. Marcus, you had a chance to ice the game from the free throw line and you missed. How do you deal with that? Marcus paused, considering his answer carefully. 3 years ago, that miss would have destroyed me. I would have seen it as proof that I wasn't good enough. But here's what I learned. Missing doesn't make you a failure. Being afraid to miss makes you a prisoner. Tonight, I missed a free throw in the biggest game of my life, and my team still won. Because basketball isn't about one person being perfect. It's about 5 people being present. He paused, emotion catching in his throat. I spent years trying